Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, how you doing on this gloomy Sunday?
Pretty good. Yeah, weather. It made a pretty big drop about midway through the week.
Yeah, it went from or from like t-shirt weather to hoodie weather really
Yeah.
fast. Which I don't know. I feel ready for hoodie weather. Do you?
Yeah, I think the only thing was I feel like Monday, Tuesday, you had to be ready for the late afternoon to be like touching 80. And
Yep.
then, yeah, like you go to sleep. Like I keep my like patio door like cracked a little bit overnight. And then, yeah, you wake up one morning and you're like, oh, it's 30 something right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I am like oddly normally I don't either notice it or care, but like for some reason I'm season, like ready for for things to be a little darker, for leaves, for a hoodie, a little chill or things like that. But what I really don't like is the change, from day to day, where it's like, all
Yeah,
right, I need a blanket right now. Oh, I left the house without my hoodie, and now I regret it later in the day. And I had the heat on at one point, and then the other right after that, I have the air conditioning on. So it's like
right.
I just want it to be one steady thing for now. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Uh, and maybe it's just because I'm changing so many things right now that like the changing of the season seems like it makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I just went through recently, yesterday and a little bit today. Like I've been threatening to delete Instagram for a while. It's like, oh, that'd be so nice just to not have this app, not have this distraction. I have done like experiments where I've gone like a week of just having it deleted off my phone, and that was like a super productive week,
Yeah,
And you don't realize that like once it's there and it's gone, you really just don't stay up and scroll on it. It just naturally happens. It's kind of like with like eating. Like I guess the more you do it, I find it so easy now, even though like you resist it. Oh, I can just go back to my normal, cleaner way of eating. No problem. There's no withdrawal for anything. So
yeah,
it's just it's funny how like sometimes we think, or like the thought of changing back to the way that we prefer things seems harder, but really it's not. Like you just fall right back into it. It's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
this is the normal routine again. I remember this. I enjoy this. I like the way this makes me feel. So I'm debating about or figuring out how to make my personal Instagram account restricted, so
hmm,
that way like not everyone can see what I post. And then I've also been going through and clearing out tons of followers, because I'm just like, all right, why do I need to follow someone that I don't know in the CrossFit weightlifting world that they also have 5,000 followers? Are they even going to see anything I post? I've never met them before.
right.
Like they just know me from things. So I'm trying to like bring that down and in, and only like be following like maybe the couple like I'll call them educational accounts that I want to like follow, and like people that I directly deal with, and a couple close gyms, and that's about it. I'm like, I don't need to
Yeah,
follow a gym in California that I've never been to or something like that because they got a book or this or that, or but they can follow me. That's cool, but I don't need to do the follow back thing anymore, I feel.
hmm.
And it's been nice. I got it down from like 400 and something down to like 175. And
Oh, well, yeah,
it just, I don't know, if somehow it feels lighter. It's like I'm following 400 plus people, and I only ever see the same handful of people in my feed. And I
yeah.
have
That
no
is
idea
true.
what's going on with any of those things. So it's like, why am I following it? And then I started to
Hmm.
discover so many people that I'm following aren't following me back. Then I was like, oh, that's an easy, clean break.
Yeah,
Boom. And
yeah,
then there's so many accounts too that I had followed, like maybe like Christian accounts that they haven't posted anything in 2 years. Okay, so I followed them because I liked something that they had posted at one point, but now it's kind of like a dead account. Well, I can get rid of
right.
that too.
Yeah,
So it's just I guess it's a way of like mental decluttering almost.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, sometimes just seeing that number be lower definitely helps. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same way. A friend was asking me like, "Oh, when you go to India for 2 weeks, are you gonna have like cell service?" And I was like, "Don't think so," and I'm not too worried about it. Like the people I'm going with are fairly techy, so I know that we'll have like Wi-Fi available and stuff. But I'm like not. I'm cool
Concerned.
with just
Yeah.
like I don't even think I'm gonna post things live, like even on Instagram. Like when I have Wi-Fi, I think I might like save it all for like when I get back. Like I think I
Yeah.
might do like full on unplug almost for the trip, and then like whatever when I get back, like here's everything. But I don't think I'm gonna be like worried about like day to day stuff.
One, oh man, I just imagine you're gonna feel amazing 2 weeks without any of that
Yeah,
BS. And then that might even make it harder to all of a sudden start doing it again. But
yeah,
it's kind of funny how you say, all right, I'm gonna unplug and then like I'll share stuff later when I it's like, do you mean doing things the way that you used to at one
right.
point in life? Like the normal way. Like that is the normal way. What we do now, I feel like is not normal at all. So
Right. The like live updates are so it's odd if you think about it. Like I really like even with my film camera now, like I might get those developed months later and then I'll post all of those and people are like, "Oh, are you there right now?" And I'm like, "Oh no, this was months ago." And like it feels good to be like, "Yep, nobody knows what I'm doing at this exact moment. This is way before."
yeah, because they never used to. But now you can go to a business or a place that you like to go and you check in. And now everyone knows that Miguel is at Starbucks on Wolf Road.
Right.
And then you go to the park and you're taking pictures of the park. And I was like, someone could literally like track you down and follow you and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, I think I don't know, with the changing of the seasons, getting a little older, I got a birthday coming up. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna bring it in. And I bet the more I bring it in, like all those people and stuff that I unfollowed, they ain't never gonna know. I was thinking to myself, I'm
Yeah.
like, they're not looking for James McDermott content. They just it popped up one time because I was on some podcast and like, ooh, follow. I like what he said. But they don't check back in. And the stuff I'm posting
Yeah.
isn't for them. And I'm not the reason I'm using Instagram at all is just because I have some things I like to share once in a while. Sharing is fun. It's like show and tell. But I'm not trying
Yeah.
to like grow anything with it. I'm not trying to get business with it. That's what other accounts are for. And those other
Right. Yeah.
accounts,
Yeah.
anyone can follow it, and those can follow anyone. I'm just talking about my James McDermott account. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to do this. It's good to unplug. The your India trip is going to be interesting to hear about. And are you going to try to find like a CrossFit or weightlifting gym there just to kind of experience what the gym culture is like, or haven't planned that out too far?
No, no plans. I mean, I think we're going to be pretty out of the way of like major cities for the most part. Um, so whatever's close, um, yeah, whatever's like not a nuisance to get to, I'll go. But
Yeah,
other than that, I'm also like not in too big of a, you know, rush to like get into anything. I definitely won't make it like, okay, this day I'll do this and that because it's just so far out of the realm of like what I know that mostly it's like I'm going to be with the group. And then if we have time and something's like around the corner or not too far, like I'll trek out. But otherwise, yeah, pretty content with just kind of going with the flow.
yeah, yeah. If it's available, or you might, if you're like, you might be in one of those situations where it's like, oh yeah, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. There's that big rock that people lift every now and then, or
Right.
cool
Yeah.
strength things like that. So no, that's cool. It's a fun time of year. It's a relaxing time of year. There's a lot going on in all the sports. I saw that there's a CrossFit competition going on this weekend. I had no idea. Another Masters competition, which I thought the Masters was all
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what that one was, but I did also see that. Yeah. some other master stuff. But yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, end of the year competitions. There's some going on here in the Capital District. I'm sure there's a weightlifting meet that'll pop up every now and then we have Worlds. So let's start talking about weightlifting specific stuff. We'll start off with this. My friend John North, co-author The Dark Orchestra. He's been on the show before. He posted on his Instagram story. So here we are back on Instagram. I miss the iron. ... That was it. Just plain text. Because every now and then he'll leave weightlifting and stop lifting and start running. I think he was training for a marathon, and one time he was training for an Ironman, or just running 5Ks, things like that. So he kind of waffles back and forth between, all right, I want to get into some endurance competition because I want to compete and I want to push myself and explore that sport. But weightlifting always keeps calling him back. And so I took a snapshot of his story and I texted it to him. And I said, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Always remember. And that's the line from Hotel California, because he has a blog article called Hotel California. And that's the bottom of the squat. You don't want to you can check in, but you can't check out sometimes. So, and then he's like, yeah, that's kind of how it is. The sport always draws you back in. It always pulls you back in. You start longing for it. The longer you go without doing snatch and clean jerks and back squats, maybe in the beginning, you're like, I'm okay. I'm free even. But then all of a sudden taps you on the shoulder and it's like, remember us? And then you look around and you realize that you never even really left. You've still been consuming weightlifting content. You've still been watching videos. You've still been in the gym and the barbell's always there. And then next thing you know, you walk by your shoes and you're like, wonder if they still fit the same way. And then next thing you know, the barbell's in your hands and you're signed up for a weightlifting meet. And you're not training for a marathon anymore. You're back to looking at records, looking at qualifying totals, all that stuff. So it's just a funny thing that this sport does. I don't know if other sports are like that, but have you experienced any kind of Hotel California type situations with weightlifting? Or even if you take maybe a week is not long enough, but you take a little bit of time off and you're like, I'm starting to get the itch again.
Yeah, I think that's any, like, I guess you could say, like, fixation that you may have where you're like, you've taken time off. I mean, I boxed when I was in middle school, but like even that, like, consuming of like boxing and kickboxing, MMA, like every now and then, like I get like a fix again where I'm like obsessed with watching that type of content. And yeah, same thing with like Worlds going on now, where it's during like a current break from weightlifting myself, and you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, that stuff is cool. And then yeah, same thing. I mean, all these sports that I'm like interested in, and it's like the running, the this type of training and watching other people do it, and you're like, oh yeah, that is fun. And I do want to get back to that soon.
Yeah, there's a very romantic thing that gets like, it's almost like a past relationship, that like gets deeply embedded in your mind. And you're like, yeah, I remember, going to the gym, being a little sore, doing this, starting a new cycle, all those things. And for you, it's kind of funny. You're on this more extended break. You're not doing the off-season training with the rest of the team. You're kind of just doing your own thing, recovering, probably mentally, spiritually, physically, all from weightlifting. It's kind of, it's funny that you're in this time that you're trying to take for yourself. All of a sudden, there's a World Championships. Hey, hey, Miguel, World Championships. Are you going to watch? You're not going to not watch, right, Miguel? And then here you are paying for the subscription and whatnot, and then giving more money to weightlifting. And then you're hearing rumors about weight class changes. And then also USAW is like, you know what we should send Miguel? Qualifying totals for 2026. He'd love to know that right now when he's on his break. So I just think that's funny how it's like, you just can't get away. You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Did you look at those qualifying totals?
Yeah, I mean, I woke up and I think it was at the top of my inbox in my email. And I was like, let's just see. in one, I hate the way that they organize it. It was so hard to be like
Yes.
do separate things for, because I
All
was
it
like looking and
needs
I was
is
like, I just have to hit body weight, and then I'm like, oh, that's like youth, and then I'm like going and going and going, and yeah,
all they need is a header that says the name of the event and
right.
then subheaders off to the left, youth, senior, master, and just go like that. And it'd be so much easier to read that document.
But yeah, I mean, of course, went through it and it was like, okay, well, we have the total for finals, I guess.
I did
And
see that.
then,
Was it 204
yeah, and then 227
for
for
nationals?
nationals. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, interesting. Good to keep that in mind. But yeah, of course, it's
It
like, I wasn't going to not look.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like no one wasn't gonna not look. Like that's the first as soon as I saw it, I was like going through, I'm like looking at you guys' totals, like making plans. All right. And then I'm like, okay, Miguel could easily at the regional qualify for finals. Boom. Miguel's in the finals. And then I'm like, all right, if Miguel snatches 100 and 125 next year, we're 2 kilos off. So what do we need to do to make up those 2 kilos? Okay, maybe that means we gotta snatch, 101 and clean and jerk 126. And
Yeah.
okay, we're like on the cusp of clean and jerking 118, which really we know that 118 is not real. It's really probably like 121, 122. So I'm like doing all these like things in my head. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, remember how close we were to 100 at the regional? It's like, yeah, we could, let's just do it all at the regional. Like, look at that, we could.
Right.
So just going through that in my head for all of you guys, and then or just seeing like, okay, we have a gap to cover for some of us, but and then I'm also looking at that 60 kilo class, like even though I know we're probably not going down there, but I'm like, well, let's take a gander. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's when you're in it, you're in it, and like we're you just move to a different floor, but
Right.
like I'm still on I'm paying my nightly dues, to weightlifting, and the bellhop comes around. It's like, here's the qualifying total, sir. I'm like, well, thank you. I
Mhm.
always like, oh, by the way, I've highlighted Miguel on there for you, and Haley and Allie. And I'm like, oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I give him his tip, and he goes away. So it's just funny, just the whole situation of it.
Right. Yeah. I didn't do the full, like, I did have to stop myself. I will say that the like me going, okay, we're currently in hiatus. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Cause I didn't do the everybody else.
Hmm.
Cause I was almost like close to making plans based off of where everybody else was at. Where I was
Hmm.
like, okay, if I've qualified for finals, how close is everybody else to finals? Because if we get multiple people at finals, then I'll just go to finals because that makes sense. Cool. We can all go to finals. And I was like, all right, let's pause. I don't know the next time I'm like really gonna be in a training cycle again. So let's take a second before.
January 1st. January 1st.
Well, yeah, sure. But yeah. So yeah, I did allow myself to like pump the brakes for a little bit just to not get too ahead of myself. But yeah, that's what happens. I mean, the energy of everything where you see worlds going on and you see so much. I mean, especially this world's because of the new classes, because of like essentially the beginning of the qualifying for the next Olympics. This one doesn't count, but
Oh, really?
similar to Worlds in 2022, where it's like you see the faces and you see, who are going to be the new stars of this next cycle and who still has room to go. A lot of the like world records where I'm like, oh, why are you going for that? Like it seems easy, but then I'm like, oh yeah, you have 3-ish more years. Like you're probably already set. Like if you can hit this total again, like you will make the top 10 for your weight class, whatever. But yeah, you have so many more meets to add a kilo here, add a kilo there, add a kilo here. Um, but yeah, when you get into like the whole like weightlifting, you're very much back in weightlifting mode for a bit.
Yeah. When I think the qualifying totals came out on Friday, right? Was that Friday?
Yeah, it's either Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday. I was, there's a thought in my head. I'm like, I wonder if he's going to pop in. You know, if you would have showed up to practice, I would have been like, yep, all right,
Yeah.
I know why you're here, because you saw that email too, because we were all talking about it, and then I also told the whole team, I'm like, Miguel needs to hit this, you know, so
Yeah.
they all know too. It's funny with the world records now and everything with this recent worlds, which I didn't know that it doesn't count for the Olympics. That's interesting.
Not officially yet. I don't know exactly when the first one is. I don't think, because they haven't finalized which classes are even going.
That's true.
So I don't think it counts your total towards qualifying.
I feel like there's like so much turmoil right now with these classes and everything. And I can't remember how it worked the last quad, whether this is normal or not, that they haven't, which the weight classes are new back from June 1st. So yeah, of course they haven't said which ones are the Olympic categories, even though when they moved to the what weight classes before this, I feel like it came out side by side. Like, here are the 10 weight classes. Here are the 8 that go to the Olympics. I feel like it was a dual announcement, because I remember the little graphic.
I feel as though what happened last time is that they changed, and then they got like, all right, you get these many spots. Like, I feel like that happened around the same time. So they were like, all right, if these are the jumps that we have to make, then these are the classes going, like just every other. But because this year, one, they made the change and they were hoping for more spots and whatever, and then it seemed like they weren't getting them, and then they were like, all right, then here are the classes. And then again, they were like, you get one more weight class for each one. Now they're like, oh, now we really don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And there's been some rumors on forums or feeds or something, right, about that these weight classes themselves, the new ones, might even change.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm not completely sure on like if they are going to change, or if now the people who made the decisions are like, oh no, we've kind of put ourselves in a bad spot now.
Yeah.
Because like we said before, like that 94 to 110 jump has just been kind of brutal. Because I mean, when you had the classes before of 89, what was it, 96?
Yep.
102, 109.
Yep.
Then it's like people can just play around there. But now that you made it 94 up to 110, 109s are just going to be 110s. For 102s, like when you're that size, I mean, it'll be easier for you to get up to 110 than to drop 102 to 94. Or at least that's what we've seen, at least at this point of like qualifying and the change, is that most 102s are like, I don't want to drop down all the way to 94, especially with competition. And, you know, you see certain people already in those classes that you're like, oh, those 89s are just going to get stronger at 94. All I'm going to do is lose strength, dropping all the way down to 94. So that disparity has just been causing like really uneven kind of competition in these classes.
Yeah. And a lot of those not 102s were probably training at 103 to 105 anyways, and then maybe cutting down a little bit. And then if they miss their cut, they're just they're just a 109. So it's, and we saw even at state championships, I originally had 8 to 10 94s. And then by the time competition rolled around, I had 2 in the open category, and maybe like 1 in the Masters men's. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was the disappearing weight class. They were all just like, bump me up. And some, a few guys, maybe 1 or 2 actually bumped down to 88. So those were the guys that were like, all right, I want to be healthy, for this meet. I'm going to cut down, eat. I want to be lighter. This is my chance to experiment with maybe going a little lighter. But most guys bumping up. And I didn't have many 110s bump up to 110 plus either. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's going to be so hard to find the perfect weight classes with only 8 categories. I would prefer it to be less categories than more categories. Only
Right.
selfishly because I'm a person that has to process records and do all those types of things. So having less is nice in that regard. But I don't know how, like, what's a perfect. I guess the thing is, where do you start? Okay, how light do we want to be the sport? Do we
Yeah.
need a
Yeah.
category in the 40s? Or are we just saying, hey, senior women, it starts at 53 or 54, and you just got to go up?
Yeah.
Is that, do you, so let's start there. Is it okay to not have the bottom be where it's at now in the like 60, 61, 55 kilos was a weight class not too long ago for the men, and then for the women 48, 48, 49? Is it okay to start like at 65 or so for the men, and then for the women start around 53, 54?
I would say Olympic wise. So like I'm cool with the lightest class because those usually aren't the Olympic classes. So like before when it was 55, that's not in the Olympics for men, but 61 is. I'm cool with that. And like what was it, 45 for women, and then 48 was the first Olympic class.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it now, with it being like 40 something for ladies and then 53 being the first Olympic class. I think that works out well. And then same thing with the men of 60 being the lowest and then 65 being the next jump. It's interesting because I am in those lighter classes. Sometimes I am like, how can someone get lighter than the last time I was 61 at the Arnold? And I was like, how can somebody really get lighter than this? But they're like, there are adults that are also like 55. Like I remember one of the guys on the podium was like holding his daughter in the 55 class. And you're like, okay, cool. But like, how small can we get at a
Yeah.
certain point where it's like, is this safe? Is this,
Well,
if we're
it's
cutting, are we just like around this weight or are we cutting to get down to that as well?
and I think too, two points. There are going to be adults that small,
Right.
but also how many of them are in the sport and are going to actually do it. Like if we took like a big population census, I think we'd be surprised. There are a lot of men and women that actually are that small. They're short,
Yeah.
they're skinny, all those things. But then also the senior class starts at 15. So you might have like someone who is technically a youth and a junior and also a senior. And that's where you get like that multiple eligibility thing where
Yeah.
you might just have a phenom. And back in the day, I think it was probably more prevalent in past times where you might have a 16-year-old that's lifting the world record and doing this, and they found this little kid sweeping in the corner, and they're like, look at how he moves, and they put him into the program and
Right.
give him whatever concoctions they need to and all that stuff. Um, so it's I don't know if it's a thing from the past, but also you don't want to rule it out ever. The next
Yeah.
like true phenom, and maybe that's like not even the word for it, but I feel like there's like you have like your 30-year or generational athletes. It's like, okay, enjoy it now because you ain't going to see this again for like decades.
Right.
For the sport itself to find this person. So I don't know. Is there anyone around like that right now? Like truly, like not just because we're impressed with the big lifts, but like a generation. Like I think Hampton Morris is kind of that person. And
Right.
again, it typically happens in the lighter weight classes. You had Hampton Morris, and then decades before him, oh, I forget his name. Yeah, I forget his name. Sorry, I forget his name. But then before him, you had Chris LaRue, who was in that 55 to 60-ish kilo. And like the American records and all those things like stand for like 30 to 40 years and
Yeah.
then comes around the next one. So it's a really interesting thing. And I think that's kind of why you have to keep it. You can't
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
thing be an only moderate to heavy sport. But then it makes things tough because what are you going to do for the jumps in between that? Because people don't neatly fall and things. In a perfect world, maybe you have a weight class every 5 kilos. But oh my gosh, that would be a nightmare too. A million records, a million medals, all those things. I like what you're saying. Okay, maybe the Olympic class is this. So you're going to have your 53 is the Olympic class, but you can still have 48 and 45 be in the mix. But then again, that might cut out that 15-year-old girl who she's not going to be able to get up to 53, but she's snatching 140. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting seeing like North Korea is a good example, because they essentially, for men, they're done by 81. Well, what's the class now? 79.
Yep.
They're essentially done. Like that's their last male is like,
oh wow,
79. I think they do have one more at 88. Yeah, there was one, but that's essentially where they're done. For the women, I think the last one that competed in an A session that I saw was 69. And she had previously competed at 71. So like maybe eventually she'll make that jump up to 77. But like for some countries, it's like they're not going above a certain weight class. So they'll fill out these bottom ones. So they have like these phenoms for men 60 and 65. And then for women, like 48 and 53 that are, you don't necessarily want them to have to battle each other because of you're going for Olympic spots, but you want to have that lighter one because you're like, yeah, they really can't get much bigger than where they are,
So if you're going to be a world sport, and with strength, it's tricky too. You have to account for age groups, and that you do want the younger, 15, youth junior athletes to be able to participate at the senior level if they are truly gifted, because otherwise that would like stunt their development and the development of the sport. You want them to be there. But also like what you're saying, it's a world sport and some cultures are just smaller, so like some of those Asian countries, they may not have big people. Like maybe your Eastern European countries will have like bigger guys, or Americans are maybe a little bit bigger, or we have more of a spread on things. So that is, boy, there's a lot to consider. And then you have to look at like past data and do all of the statistics and stuff like that. Okay, here were our 45s, then or our 48s, then we changed it to 49. Here's what the records were, what the world records were, all that stuff. Here's like the consistency of their lifting too. Look, when we changed to this, we had more bomb outs than when this was the weight class.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they do like the deepest data dives on all that stuff to figure things out. Although it does seem like these newer weight classes, I don't know, it kind of seems like it was like scribbled on a napkin and like, what do you guys think about this? And then not too long after that, they're like, we don't like 98. Let's go 90, 94. Which, do you think if they kept the 98 kilos men class, it would have been a lot better than going to the 94? Like we still have a gap, but so we go 89, 98, 110 versus 89, 94, which was an old weight class, a beloved weight class, and then to 110. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if they were like, I feel like they were almost worried that they would get a weight class taken away. Mm-hmm. Like the classes almost make more sense if you think they only get 4 classes. Because it seemed like they were kind of leaning towards like, let's make sure that our big stars are comfortable, right? Where it's like, you don't want to jump too far away. If you're making the Olympic class in the 90s instead of that 88, where you're like, all right, someone like Carlos Nassar can bump up to 94 comfortably. And he'll be good there. He'll hit bigger numbers than we've seen. But 98, then you have, a little bit more competition coming down. And can he build up in a way that's like cohesive to us also building weightlifting? Like, will he still be hitting world records early enough that people will follow this journey through. Yeah, it really did seem, the numbers are a bit odd, because last time it was like, oh, just every other weight class is an Olympic class. But now it's like, if you're getting 6, you're like, then we just leave a couple out. So which ones are we leaving out? And it just makes it feel odd.
And it sucks that we're in this position, which the sport has done it to itself, to have to leave weight classes out and have it be like this. Because look at, and again, we're going back to the lightweight classes. Look at the guys that were doing 3 times body weight. Mutlu, probably saying his name wrong. Pocket Hercules, like there was like, it was like a thing you were going to see every now and then, like a guy lifting 3 times his body weight on the clean and jerk, and just incredible weights, and they'd be snatching like a house. So it's like, I don't know. And of course there were drugs involved here and there, although not everybody was popped. Do you ever think we'll see that again? That stuff again? With the way the sport's going?
I think only if you allow the weight classes to stay where they are for long enough. Like, people genuinely don't have enough time to develop.
Yeah.
A good example in the 110 class now, Akbar Drayev from Uzbekistan was like a great 96 when that was like an Olympic class and he was building in that. But then when they made the bump up, I think he went for the Olympics, or like trying to qualify for the Olympics. He was like almost playing around with being a super.
That's crazy.
And it was like, and he's fairly young, and it clearly wasn't making him better. But then they bumped back down to 110 so he can like comfortably be 110. And I mean, he hit those world records at Worlds this time, but his training has been insane. And you look at him, and if you go like, give him 5 years of uninterrupted at this weight class, and he can do some things that we've never seen. But if they switch the weight classes every 4 years, every 3 years, if it's always uncertain, then you're not giving people, especially like we keep on saying, like the younger athletes, time to even develop in a weight class, because they have to consistently think about dropping down or bumping up, even more so if they're higher levels. So they're thinking about the Olympics, and they might have to move to a class that doesn't even really make sense for that.
Yeah, and it's almost like we have a confused sport right now, where the game is changing every couple of years, or now within a year, a calendar year, and it's like you said, there's just no time to do anything. I wonder, I really wonder, like for some of like just I guess teams all around. I imagine it's different in America than it is in other countries, where the weight classes change, and like your coach tells you, like, because in a lot of places I imagine the coach just tells you, Miguel, you're going to lift as a 77 and whatnot, or changing your nutrition, stuff like that. So I just wonder what that internal dialogue is like, and what's communicated to the athlete, and then what their process is to start changing things. Like, okay, like if there is a nutritionist, they're calculating new food plans and stuff like that. Have you seen anything about that? Like how this goes down internally when, like maybe even from the switch to these new weight classes? Because we knew in January what the new weight classes were going to be. Then they went into effect in June, and then Worlds is now in October. So you had good enough heads up. And then more than likely too, I imagine, just like everything, it leaked last year, at some point, maybe to the end. I would just assume. So I don't know. I wonder, have you heard anything about how teams do adjust to this?
Not exactly yet for like a world kind of outlook. I know for some like continental competitions or like some national competitions, I know that sometimes the changes didn't go into effect at the same time. So like in China, I think they switched a little bit later. So some of their stars, That's the thing also with like I found with China is that a lot of times they're more concerned with continental championships, and they have like the Asian games, like mini Olympic games that they like care about maybe a little bit more than like just world championships for weightlifting. So if the weight classes don't change for that, they'll keep their stars in those like weight classes that are going to be at the games instead of worlds, and they'll just have them train for that. But I know like last quad, an athlete, Li Huanhua, he was in 89 in their country. He was probably ranked the third best 89. So they bumped him all the way up to what was the next Olympic class, whatever the 100 something was.
102.
Yeah. So they bumped him all the way up to 102 from 89. And you could see like as time went on, he got a little bit heavier. Like he competed at 96 a couple times, I think, because he was still just gaining weight. And then, I mean, he won the gold at the Olympics. So that's kind of, I've seen that where they kind of build up. But you also have like someone like Nina Sturks from Belgium, I believe. And she would jump between 49 and 59.
Wow. Constantly
Throughout the 3 years, trying to see which one she could rank higher in for the Olympics, where her best class was probably 55. But since it wasn't an Olympic class, and then she ended up going to the Olympics as a 49, the lighter option, and ended up like bombing out. And she bombed out of a lot of competitions where it's like, maybe you're too light, but if you want to make the Olympic spot, you have to make that choice.
All that dieting up and down too, I can't imagine helps her strength development,
Right.
Or just like feeling good or smooth on meet day. It's interesting with the China thing that they kind of like care a little more about like the Asian games and stuff like that. And I wonder if that's like all right, like it's one thing to like, if you do win the Olympics, like you are like, or world championships, you are the top dog, but it's different when it's like, all right, like we're beating up on like our local crew over here, and
Yeah.
kind of like more national pride, like, because I mean, I feel like they would be like a country that was more like into that type of thing versus like others. And then it's interesting that one guy kind of going up gradually, that does make sense, because going from 89 to 102, yeah, you could get there in a short amount of time, but are you going to be healthy?
Right.
Are you just gaining fat? Are you just all these things? So like doing it slowly like that is definitely going to set you up for success. That Sturks, that seems a little bit different though. And this kind of maybe shows you like just like the different strategies between the coaching teams. And sometimes I feel like maybe more so in this country, we tend to like deify foreign everything. Like,
Yeah.
oh, foreign weightlifting coach. Oh, they must be the best, right? All that stuff, but you can kind of see like, I don't know if that was the great thing to be constantly going up and down on a 10-kilo spread. That sounds really hard and not good for your body and your joints and everything.
And I can't
strength.
fully remember for her what her coaching situation was. I know that her coach currently is Will Fleming, Mary's coach as well. So she trains in the States a good amount now.
Okay.
I can't remember if they switched over before the Olympics. But I know that coaching was one of those things that she kind of switched up. And I also couldn't tell how much of it was her decisions as well, of like, all right, she's picking this one or the other. Because like commentators would be like, just stay 59. Like you're ranked 4th as a 49, but you're ranked 5th as a 59. Just stay 59 and be healthier, but you never know exactly from the athlete or coaches or country, like what they're pushing and why.
Yeah. It's just, again, it'd be cool to be a fly on the wall. Like, what are these discussions? What are who's making the decisions, how much input does the athlete have versus the coaching staff. It's just like, you have your national coach, then you have your other coaches that are in charge of athletes, and they're like, this is what you're going to do, type of a deal. It'd be interesting to know all of that a little better. Right. There used to be, I don't think it's a thing anymore, but there used to be, like for USAW, they used to do like coaching symposiums all the time, where you would go, everyone would get together, and there'd be like a lot of keynote speakers. They'd have in coaches from around the world come in, and they would talk about their training systems and things like that. And you could really learn a lot. And it was like a sharing of ideas. But that was like a thing of the past. Like, that'd be super cool if they did stuff like that. Like, hey, we have the national coach from, England and China and stuff. And they're going to come and they're going to talk. Like, I remember Glenn Penley used to talk about how he would be able to chat with the Bulgarians when they would go to those things and talk about, okay, well, how did it go? What did Dabajiev have you guys do? All those things. And I don't know. I guess some people get that when you go to international events, but it kind of seems like the sharing of ideas and stuff, it's not the same. And just because everything's on social media now and everything, that's not the same either. It'd be way better to like, all right, oh, there's Miguel. Let me talk to Miguel. Hey, so what do you guys do for your squat? Agreed. And then you're like, oh, this is what happens. Like, I know that's the article James wrote and everything just for public, public things. But he also used to have us after every set, like do like a max rep or something, like something that's not out there. So I don't know. Wouldn't that be cool if they brought that stuff back?
Yeah, I definitely agree, where it's like the YouTube channels and the social media, you feel like you see what people are doing, but like you really have no, even if you might see what they're doing, but you don't necessarily understand why.
Yeah.
Like they have people following the Chinese teams and they're like, oh, but these athletes have a different coach, so they work on this. And you're like, I want to know why. Is it that athlete specific, or is it just like regional as well? When Taktuo was there, I was at our gym training with us. I was talking to him about kind of like regional things, because he was asking like, oh, are there certain states that are like better at weightlifting? And I know that we have like our hubs,
New York's best,
but like the Floridas, the Texas, the whatever, but I was like, we're a little bit more spread and like coaches can kind of be remote. So we don't have like regional techniques or whatever. Like we might have coaches and philosophies in certain areas, I guess. But I know in a lot of other countries, it's like, oh, if you're from this province, you most likely lift like this, because even like physiologically of like, oh yeah, your arms might be shorter if you're from this place. So the coaches in this place teach your technique to be like this because it's better suited for people from there.
Well, and in that province, those people have generations of farmers doing all of this type of work. On that province, they're fishermen and they do this type of work. And you just see they're two different people.
Yeah. So it's like, we don't necessarily have that as in the States. People move around and they might just be training fully remote and all of these things. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, it would be interesting to see like, here's the why, like a full on breakdown of like, here's why this person trains like this versus their teammate who's like, maybe their numbers are very similar. That's something that you see also with like, especially this time with like a newer cycle where you see teammates from the same country lifting pretty much the same exact weight, but they have different coaches and they might train different. Like, oh, first day in the training hall, this person's doing powers while this one is fully maxing out, but like their numbers are the same. Like, why are these athletes different?
Yeah. And, like what you said on YouTube, there's so many interviews now where you're like, oh, this is really cool. Lu Jiazhong's going to do an interview. But people do like hold back when the camera's on them or they know that they're recording. What Glenn used to say is like, he used to get like so many stories and stuff when they were out drinking beers and stuff. So they would like go out, like you'd be at the symposium and they would be like, well, this is what we did. We maxed out, we blah, blah, all that stuff. Then you might talk to them off to the side and you might get a little bit more. But then when the beers, the cigars, and the chicken wings are around, well, all right, let me tell you about this crazy thing that happened. And then it's like, well, why'd you do that? Well, he had us max out for 20 reps. It's like, so it's like, that's when you really get that kind of stuff. And it kind of seems like, I don't know, that's like a generational thing. It's gone. That's why it's cool that you had a chance to talk to Taktua and that we got to go out to dinner with him too, and we of course we didn't talk only about weightlifting, but we just got to learn more about him and things started to make more sense, and we need more weightlifters dropping into the barbell club.
And just like a comfortability too. Like it wasn't even until like he wasn't drinking or anything, but like it wasn't until we got to like almost the tail end of dinner that he like turned to Chris and was like, "You jerk too slow," and I was like, "Yes." Exactly. And like we got into a whole conversation with that, but it's like, you need to kind of like build a rapport and like become comfortable enough to like, I've seen someone like that. Here's what we do when that comes around or like something like that. And you kind of, that exchange of ideas like takes time.
Yeah. He was cool. Like he definitely could have like fallen into the fold and been a member of the club.
Yeah. For sure.
Really, really easily. He was really nice to talk to, great personality, all that stuff. Similar lifting level to everybody. Yeah. So that was that was cool. So if he's ever back in the States, he can come hang out with us anytime.
For sure.
Now with the Worlds this year, I believe I just saw that USAW posted. We just set a record of the most medals as a country that we've ever gotten at a World Championships before. And I believe it's 9. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I can't remember if it's all time or I think they said like 77 or something like that. Like it's something in the 70s.
Okay. So in like a long time.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, even the like having 2 people on the podium at one time in the same class is like, that's rare for our country. So that's like, that
was Olivia and Maddie, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Which big props to Maddie Rogers. She's been in it for a long time. And I think at one point there was a conversation on, is she going to retire? Is she going to keep going? And, it's funny. Like she had like a rough patch for a little bit, which who hasn't had a rough patch? Yeah. Like if you haven't had a rough patch of at least a year in weightlifting, are you really like trying that hard? It's like, so I know she was going through things with clean and jerks and ref decisions. And, we've all had those conversations about those situations. But for her to come out and to still medal, that's awesome, because, she's not old, physically in her earthly years, but in the sport, she's getting up there. And I think it's cool that she's going to stick around for this quad. And I also think it's important that she's there for Olivia, just because even though Olivia is like top of the world, setting world records, incredible snatches, gold medals at the Olympics, and she's like kind of untouchable right now, she still needs someone there that like, if you have a bad day, I'm taking your spot, man. And so I think that's super important. So if anything, I think Maddie Rogers is doing a really good thing for the sport by sticking it out, because also all things of what anyone would say about Maddie Rogers, she doesn't need weightlifting anymore. Like maybe she does from a standpoint of like, you can, kind of like with John North, like you can check out, but you can never leave. Like it's like the addiction, right. It's the obsession, all that. But if she wanted to, she could be putting out apparel lines. She could be putting up posters. She could be making money is what I'm saying. She could be doing seminars. She'd be in a gym every weekend doing seminars, and people would be paying for it. So she,
like, quite frankly, the fact that she's still competing is probably her biggest money loss.
Yeah.
Because so much of it is like, I can't remember. Maybe now she's gotten that standard of like full on funding. But for a while she was self-funded, getting to Worlds herself, bringing Amy as well. And so it's like for her, having to be a full-time athlete is probably like a hole that she has to like fill money-wise.
Yeah, like because at that time, instead of training, for multiple hours a day and so many days a week and stuff to be at this level, she could be doing programming and meeting with online clients, charging them $500 a month or whatever she
Yeah,
wants to. Like she literally has, when she is done, the world at her fingertips. And I know there's a lot of controversy and talk about the funding and stuff, and what is USAW doing? What are these athletes doing? There isn't the most completest picture of what everyone's role in this is. Athletes have their quirks. USAW has what they need to do. But like with her specifically, for her to come back, make this worlds, be on the team, medal, it's like you should invest in her a little more. And also she's kind of like I view her as different because I feel is a big catalyst reason, in my opinion, on why so many or a large number of women are weightlifting,
for
because
sure.
so many women want to be like her, like her vibe, her style. She's got the tattoos, just everything. So many women see themselves in her and be like, I want to be her. And that's what makes her special. Or in any sport. Remember how they used to say, like, you want to be like Mike? Everyone want to
Right.
be like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Like, that's who she is. I don't see, like other athletes in the sport of weightlifting. I know Mary has a lot of followers and stuff, but are there any men on the weightlifting side where you're like, I want to be Wes, or I want to be this person? I don't know. Like, I can't
Right.
see myself in any of them. I never saw myself in any of the male lifters, but I can see how a lot of women are like, I want to be like her.
I mean, you can see it in like if you really look around before like a women's session, it's like the glitter, the spray in the hair, the like
That's all
little
her.
jewels, like that's all her. Even in like other countries. Like I've seen like backroom stuff where like girls from other countries, like she's adding the glitter to them and like they're going up to her and like one of the South Korean athletes like drew her because that was like her idol essentially. Like
Wow.
it's huge where it's like, oh yeah, this like personality also. And just I mean, yes, personality and all that, but it's like again her accolades. There aren't many athletes, men or women, who have that many world medals. Definitely not in the span of like, oh, in 8 worlds, she gotten medals like 7 of those times. Like not like Lee Fa Bin. I don't know if he's even gone to that many worlds, even though like maybe his legacy, he seems like more Olympic wins and like maybe greater, but it's like that longevity in the sport is not something that many people accomplish at all.
Yeah. It's truly incredible because I remember back in like 2015, 2016, Maddie Rogers was huge. And now here we are in 2005 and 2006. She's still huge and
Yeah.
on the big stage. And it's funny you say that about the glitter because I remember at States on the platform that Jennifer was warming up on, both of those girls were all glittered out, and I was like, why is this a thing now? Like so many people, I
Yeah.
see this, and then I was like wondering, I'm like, where are they getting this glitter? Like, I don't even know where to buy glitter,
Right.
or like face glitter or something like
Hmm.
that. And then, but that makes sense that it's her because I saw her on the world thing, and I'm like, this has to be from her. And
Right.
then you just said it too. So how cool would that be how cool is that to have foreign lifters again, because we put them on some kind of weird pedestal, or maybe I do. Maybe it's because like that's what it used to
No,
be
you're absolutely right for sure. Yeah. I
that
think
they like that they are big fans of her and
right.
she's driving their weightlifting program, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, super interesting. Um, I guess other big takeaway from Worlds for me was the jury. I don't know if you
Oh
saw any of
boy.
the sessions like live.
I've literally seen the only things I've seen from Worlds are the king of Norway. Are they in Norway? Right.
Oh yeah.
I saw the King of Norway was there, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. Just because
Mhm.
like if I could get close, I'd want to shake his hand because I'm like, never met a king before in my life.
Right.
I mean, outside of the true one king, but that's a whole nother thing. But the big boat, I think the stage
Yeah.
is so cool. Like they need to do more of that. Like, man, that's a
Yeah.
cool setup. It looked that stage and everything looks better than the Olympics, of what they had
Yeah.
set up for all that. And I saw, of course, Olivia's lifts. The final snatch. Oh my goodness, like phenomenal. And I saw he bombed out, I think today. I forget his name. Big guy. We saw him
Aaron.
at the Arnold. Hey, that's Aaron from
Yeah.
Bear. Which I saw. I did see that he hit his last clean and jerk, and then the jury, which is you're going to talk
Yeah.
about this, overruled it. And then of course I saw Hampton's lifts. So outside of that, I really have no idea what's been going on.
Yeah. Essentially, as it's been becoming a bigger thing of like the press out and what is a press out, and this I think they said was the first time at like a senior international championship where you got to see the jury's decisions at the same time as the judges. So like
Oh.
a challenge card, you might not even play it because you just saw that the jury gave all no lifts. So there was kind of that, but brutal. And it was fun though because the crowd was booing them so much
Good.
that it was like we might be able to bully the jury into some of these decisions because some of them were just I don't just again like the inconsistency again
Yeah.
of like some you were like what are you even reviewing, and then every time they say the same thing like press out, bending in straightening of the elbows, and you're like I genuinely don't even see what you see. It's one thing to do the thing like every sport does now with like the replay and slow-mo, and like should that even count because it should be just what your eyes see. But yeah, like some of them you even do the slow-mo in replay and you're like well no that's not an elbow, but then they'll just call it and then people have to go back and try lifts again, or like it was insane, but people were booing them pretty blatantly.
It's I don't think you can bully them. Do you ever go back and watch like older worlds or Olympics for weightlifting?
Probably nothing before like 2015 or 14.
Okay, you should. I'm sure you can find the clips of Hossein Rezazadeh, and there's another heavyweight dude whose name I'm blanking on, but an Iranian lifter. Maybe this is him. Let me see. When's the most girl olds? Who is this? So essentially, like the crowd would be crazy. Like if you took a lift away from this dude, the all the Iranian fans would like and then into other lifts. They just wouldn't stop. And
Oh
they'd
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
they excuse me, please stop, stop, and it would just get wild. So like they're definitely used to that kind of a booing type of thing. But so here we are back at the whole conversation. Does getting rid of the press out rule make the sport better? I think it does. I don't think it makes the sport any less safe to not have a press out rule. Yeah, I think it's exactly the same because you can go. What do you think the percentage is at local meets where they're not, even if they are national level refs or higher? What do you think of things actually being called to the letter of what they should be?
Yeah, and I mean,
It's pretty bad.
and it's like again, what is the letter? Because some of them you're like, but that wasn't even based on what our definition of a press out is. That's not even a press out. But yeah, you're right. Where it's like
Or the
none of these
recovery,
lifts.
the recovery from the jerk,
Yeah,
elbows wiggle on the recovery of the jerk. No one's calling that. at the local level,
And
and
yeah,
even at nationals, they'll struggle to do it.
and it's
Oh,
weird because you get to a point where like I'm watching people like post lifts and stuff on Instagram, and I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't even post that. Like, like I would be worried that somebody would be. It's almost like when Andrew Hiller became like a big deal, and like people would post like their muscle ups, and you're like, oof, just get ready because people are gonna call it. But
no
like
lift.
you see people doing snatches and stuff, and you're like, you could almost hear not the defeat in a lot of athletes' voices now, but like you'll see people post videos, and after they like stand up, they're like, was that a press out? Like everyone just feels like so defeated by it. And there's certain athletes where you're like, yeah, you might not total. Like uh like Aaron, where it's like, is that really his top end clean and jerk? Or is it only where he has to stop because he'll get called for press outs?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what the name is. Foreign lifter. He snatched something, and he got the lift taken away. I don't know. Maybe he's from Egypt or something.
Yeah, it's Abdo, the new Egyptian 79.
Oh, he is from Egypt. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. You're doing something fantastical. It's superhuman. The amount of weight, all these things. And a little like that's it. Like, is this it's not a beauty contest sport. It's a strength sport, and I know there's if you do have the best technique, you're going to be able to lift the most weight. Now, if he presses out one elbow bends at the bottom, does that mean he doesn't have the best technique? Or is his technique so good and his strength so good and his athleticism is so good that in spite of that little hiccup, he's still able to complete the lift?
Right. And I mean, like, yeah, to that's a bigger thing. I mean, you could see this is his first senior worlds. You could see it carry over into the clean and jerk, just the like almost despair. And I guess
Yeah.
as like you become a more seasoned senior lifter, you have to get used to that. But technically, he did not miss a single snatch. His second and third attempts were world records that he stood up and got called press outs on both. So now you have to go into the clean and jerks down in the snatches, even though you are clearly the best at snatches.
Yeah. You're
and
one
try
out
to
of three.
make up these weights. It's devastating. Like you could see on his second one as he stood, he was like, oh my gosh. Like I already know, like, and they start to, you can see it in the background, how they fill in and you can already see the red and you're like, oh, that sucks to see.
It is definitely, there's a lot of outdated things in the sport, but this is one of the most outdated ones. And I'm sure there was a reason why you needed to have it back in the day. And of course, we should draw a line between a jerk and a push press or a press.
Right.
There should be an effort to go under the bar, things like that. And there should be a line between a power snatch or some sort of a snatch with a receiving position versus a muscle snatch or a muscle clean.
Yeah.
We don't want those. Those aren't real. But the whole elbow thing, you're still going to have people going for crazy weights that could get them hurt. It's not going to take care of the ugly lifts thing, which you're not going to see that at the world level either. But you will see it at like national level and local level, and you're going to still see it anyways. Go to any local meet, you're going to see people doing stuff. So unless you cap the jumps people can make and stuff like that, you're allowing them to do whatever they want to do except this one little thing. So I think it would be best just to get rid of it.
And they said
it's such a tale as old as time already on like getting rid of the press out rule.
The commentator said even like throughout time they said something like the athletes can get stronger, the bars can get stronger, like you can make better technology for the bars. At like the end of the day, an elbow is an elbow. You can be strong everywhere else. At a certain point, there is a human limit to like what an elbow can take. It's like, so if it wiggles because over double the person's weight is above head, like, yeah, that's gonna happen, especially at like, I think specifically like that 79 weight class of like, they're snatching crazy weights and they're not that big. Like, it's gonna move. And
And
then
you know
there's
what?
like,
They're going to still train to do it as sound as possible and make
right.
things strong. It's not going to change. If they got rid of that press out rule, do you think it changes training at all?
No. Because again, nobody's trying to.
Yeah. There's no advantage to holding, uh, I don't know, like 300 pounds over your head
Yeah.
and letting your elbows bend. You're trying to hold it there. So you're still going to train all the stability. You're still going to try to get joint health and tendons, that have good integrity, all these things. It's not going to change anything
And
other
then,
than other than I think it what I think it does is it would maybe the whole officiating thing is broken too. It's broken. There's so many people can do it now. You can get a local ref cert, at least in this country, but like you're not going to make calls. You don't know what
yeah.
you're looking at. You're
Mhm.
expecting someone to understand and be able to see human movement after taking a thing. And I've refed in countless sessions where it's like, I guess everyone's making a lift today. I've refed in sessions where I think the only lifts that were redded were because someone didn't complete it. They either missed the jerk, missed the clean, or missed the snatch outright. But if you got it up over your head, 3 white lights or
Yeah.
2 and 1, and then you're the one referee there just fighting. Like, no, that doesn't count. But the other 2 are against you. And so it doesn't seem a little silly.
Yeah. I mean,
Performative,
for one of
even.
the sessions that I
Performative.
ref at States, it's like the 2 other refs were national refs. And there were some lifts where I'm like, what are we doing? But like, again, it's like, it's so, you might as well just make it a stark, like, hey, did they finish with that bar fully stacked over their head and then drop it in front of them? Then cool, it's a good lift. Then that's fine. But at a
Yeah.
certain point, you're like, yeah, I don't know. And certain people, I don't know. I was worried that Olivia's last clean and jerk was going to get juried.
Ooh.
She got 1 red on it. And there was some movement, like a wiggle, as she recovered, that I believe was worse than a call that they overturned earlier in that same session.
Well, and the thing is, too, with Olivia, there are just favorites in the sport. And
Yeah.
and if you like, how many lifts we can roll back all of his clean jerks should Lasha have not gotten
Right.
because of his one arm, whether it be on the recovery or whatever. But like that man, they will not red light. They will not take it away. He is he is the sport. You do not do that. He has preferential treatment. So, all right, then that makes the whole rule book garbage now. That just the whole thing. If they will at the Olympics, you can watch it. That was his right arm, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Then what are we doing? What are we doing? What's the point of a what's the point of a jury? Why do we have to have 3 referees? Can't we just have one, and they're going to call your lift if you touch your elbow to your knee, and they catch it. If you drop it behind you, if you drop it from over your head, if you touch the bar with your foot, if all these other things happen, they're also there, the center referee, to make sure the field of play is
Right.
is safe and everything, because that's the job of the center referee, not the side ones. If there's something wrong and there is no jury and whatnot, the center referee is the one who should stand up and go and be like, yes, there is blood on the bar. If you're a side referee, you are out of order. You should not be involved in this at all. So get rid of the side referees, have one referee. Do you know how much easier it'd be to run a weightlifting meet? Oh my goodness. Oh, it'd be so much better. Powerlifting, they got one guy.
Yeah. There was also the North Korean athlete who got called for oscillation.
I think I saw something about this.
And I don't, again, like you said, like favorites, I don't know if they did like, you already got a clean and jerk world record. You don't need this second one. Like, that's almost like how it felt, where it was like, wait, why are you calling that? One, it's like they're so small and that bar has so much weight on it that everyone was like, if they move at all, it's a woman's bar. Like, if they move at
Yeah.
all, that bar is moving. And I think without it, they get the, like, one, again, another thing of like, what is oscillation? Like, what is purposeful? And like, for you to jury review it and take it away is different than like, oh, the ref saw it, it was blatant, take that lift away.
Yeah.
Going back after you're like, world record. And then now you're in the back room celebrating and they're like, wait, jury's reviewing. Never mind. Like, it's insane.
It just deflates all the energy out of the room.
Yeah.
The king of Norway's there is like, boy, what's happening? You know?
And they're asking questions. People who are excited about the sport, people are standing up weights. And at the end, they're like, wait, why is that a no lift? And then you can't even fully explain to them because you're like, well, to me, that actually looked good. But so there's this thing called a press out. Also, you know, if your arm's not, it's just like, it makes the sport so hard to get into and to want to follow and get behind.
It has, it kind of seems to me that if it's not obvious to the casual passerby audience person, then it shouldn't be a thing because they're all human. There are going to be biases. There are going to be people they don't like, countries they don't like, this or that. I'm from Northern Ireland. You're from England. We look at your lifts a little bit differently than I'm looking at other people, whatever it may be. All these countries have beeps. You just have one referee. And I guess the argument against having one referee is, well, what if that guy is favoring his lifters at a local meet and not your lifters? Which that stuff happens, and that's another thing. Well, what you need to do is make it so that the things that he's in charge of are so blatantly obvious when they happen and not nuanced. That reduces the cheating element there. Yep. If the lifter touches the bar of his foot, everybody saw it. There's no favoritism, no lift. Sorry, that's the thing we're going to do. Or if you drop it and it doesn't touch the platform, or at least one part of it, that's obvious. But the press out thing, I can say whatever I want. That's why we need two other buddies over here to make sure that none of us, no one got slipped $50 before the meet or something like that.
Right.
So you just need equipment. Oh, your singlet straps aren't up. It just needs to be all those big gross items that truly are part of the rules that anyone can see. So if someone's like, oh, why didn't that count? He was out of uniform. You see how he doesn't have his straps up, or you see how he kicked the barbell when he was leaving the stage? That doesn't count. Or he didn't bring the barbell on the platform. Oh, that makes sense to me. So even though he got it overhead, he didn't put it down the right way. That's kind of like, oh, he caught the ball, but he landed out of bounds in football.
Exactly.
That makes sense to everybody. I don't know. Are there any nuancy type rules like that in sports? Like, all right, football they're changing it all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bad example.
They have a bad one, a very bad one with what a catch is. But it's the same way where it's like, because it's inconsistent, and then you have people that are like, I don't understand that at all. Wait, but if you look at that clip from a week ago, but that was called a catch, and you're like, yeah, I actually can't even explain the rule to you because it seems like it's different every single time. Game. And it makes the game like gross. You're like, it's almost embarrassing sometimes where you're like, I don't even know how to explain this to you without you being like, oh, that's dumb. And you're like, yeah, but this is the sport that I like.
I like dumb things.
Yeah.
I think there'd be because they're already, at least over here, and I guess also on the grand scheme, like athletes are weighing in their singlets now. Like it used to be like maybe not the local meet, but at the local level at some point, then they got rid of it. But you used to have to weigh in naked. That was kind of a big deal. You know, like if you went to nationals, you had to strip completely down. Can you imagine? Did you ever have to do? You didn't have to do that, but you can imagine if
No.
that was one thing on your mind, that they're going to be just two old men in the room that you've never met before. You have to strip down completely, then hop on the scale. Sorry, son, you didn't make weight. Now you got to redress, go cut, come back, strip down again,
Yeah.
get on the scale. Boy, you know, so all kinds of things like that. And now they've just made it, hey, wear your singlet. There's a deduction now. We can just have one weigh-in official instead of having multiple. They're even doing away with like background checks. You don't. I don't even can't remember if I told you. You don't have to have a background check anymore.
Yeah.
So they're just like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Because also we can't find anyone who wants to do this.
Right.
Everyone's frustrated with it. It's taking so long. It's the most stressful part of the meet. So just simplify this thing way down. One weigh-in official, open air weigh-in. Look, there's the weigh-in happening right now. Everybody can witness the weigh-in. Everyone's fully clothed. Now no one can say, well, he touched me inappropriately. You can't do that. It's like it's happening in the room. And I guess they do that in other sports like wrestling. Open air weigh-in. Go hop on that scale. There's your weight. So we could easily do that. Referees. There's one referee. And then you still have your meet director and your comp secretaries doing all the paperwork and the equipment work and putting it together. So like less people needed to run it instead of, okay, I have to fight for my life to find 3 referees for every session. And maybe just all the lifts are good. They're just all good. So like, why did I have to go through all that?
Right.
Why did I have to also fight for my life to get those people, make sure they're credentialed? They have to go through a 3-hour safe sport thing. But you don't have to have a background check to do the weigh-in part. It's all way harder than it needs to be. But then what I would also do, all right, you want to run a local meet, you have to do a certification thing to do that. In order to run an event, you have to have credentials to run events and take training. Instead of right now, Miguel, you could put in a sanction. I'll approve it. You're running a weightlifting meet, and you're like, well, I've never done this before, but we'll figure it out. And then hopefully they're hoping you'll have referees that have credentials in the chair, and a lot of meets don't. You know, they're like, all right, you have a USAW membership, or get that person there. And the things that are probably happening all around the country, like, drive me crazy. And I'm like, that's awful. Like, we do a really good job of it in New York, but like around the country, you know, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And it's like, why have it?
I saw somebody's meet where I was so confused because I saw the weights on the bar and I was like, but that's not. And then I realized that they weren't using collars. They were just using like the regular pinch clips. And I was like, is that even allowed? Like it's been so long since I've seen something like that where I was like, I didn't even know that can you? Like I was so confused by like, you guys couldn't find anyone who had collars that you could use for this competition. Like it was so baffling to me.
Yeah, you can use them, but the weights are going to look different on the bar, like you said.
Like I was so thrown off. I was like, that seems like an odd choice.
But it's like, all right, Miguel Porter sanctions a meet. It's his first meet. Now he needs $200 collars that he's only going to ever use once a year for his meet. Like that's tough too, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could be done to smooth it out, make it friendlier on the volunteer side, but also friendlier on the spectator side, like getting rid of. That's really the only rule I would get rid of. I don't know. Is there any other rule I have a problem with?
No, I think everything else like has a rhyme or
fine
reason.
With the foot on the bar thing, which you could get rid of that, but I understand it's a sanitation thing.
Yeah.
It's a cultural thing, putting your hands where your feet. So I can get behind that, you know. It's easy. Just don't put your foot on the bar, you know.
Yeah.
Which people still like. Even at nationals, people do that. They'll come out, foot on the bar. Oh, and that's always a bummer, you know. And it
happened at States during my session.
Oh, it did.
I had to like mentally prepare for my timing because I heard somebody go out there, and I like usually I like listened for like the sound at least of like, all right, that was quick, which means no lift, or it's like, okay, from that slam that was overhead, cool lift, and it was like somebody walked out there, and then like you just heard the buttons, and then I was like, ooh, and I could hear them like Yeah, he touched it with his foot. No lift. And I was like, ooh, okay, that changes the timing of everything. Like, yeah, but yeah, it happens.
It's a cool thing from the past that I think would be cool to bring back is you ever watch the old like 1970s and 80s worlds or Olympics, and they had the big numbers board behind the platform where like the guy would have to come over with the stick and change the number. Like if you snatched 160, he's got to get your 160 block and put it up there. And that's how they did it before everything was digital. You ever see the pictures of that?
I've definitely seen those scoreboards. Yeah.
I just think it's cool. You know,
Yeah.
a scoreboard behind the platform, it's a cool thing. They got away from it at the national events for a while, and then they brought it back, and it's mostly like a projector screen, you know, type of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Overall, it looks like it was a good Worlds. I will definitely check out some sessions when they put it for free online. I think they normally do that, right?
Yeah. It might take like a month or two, but they'll have like usually all of them.
And the biggest stuff's already been all over social media already.
Yeah.
Any other big highlights for you?
No, I think again, just like young talent. Again, you never know how things are going to go by the time you get to the Olympics. But like the teams that are solid are always solid. Like Colombia's team is really solid. They have a young 94 who got third from the B session. I think he got silver medal in the snatch, bronze in the clean and jerk, and bronze in the total. And I think he's like freshly 21. I think it's his first senior Worlds. But like, again, like looks really promising. Again, just seeing like where the world records are going to go across these next few international meets. But yeah, it's still early, so you never know what people are going to do, who's going to jump to what weight class, what the weight classes are going to be finally. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It looks like it was a great event, great time. It's funny. I've seen some lifting, but I've also maybe seen more of like because I know like Mary, she posts like look at the trees and look at the lake and everything. So it looks like it's a beautiful place. Like if you went, you're like whoa, this was a cool trip, you know. And when you think of Norway, you're like you know what it's gonna be, you know, like these like Norse type of countries. But and everything's might be cold and misty and everything. But it looks beautiful. Like it looks like a place like, that would be cool to kind of go to and experience.
But it seemed like a trek to get there though.
Yeah. Aren't they like on a island or something? The venue?
Yeah, it seems like it. But I mean, like that's also part of it where you're like, if you want the really like best event, you kind of have to go remote. Like it's not right next to the airport. Like you gotta take a ferry and then like hours of a bus ride and all this stuff. So yeah.
And I hope they keep this trend up, like weightlifting in general, the IWF. Like the thing that makes our state championships unique is that we're in a nice ballroom.
Yeah.
And it really has like this different feel. Like you're not in a gym and there's CrossFit equipment everywhere and you're warming up, you know, on rubber, or you're not like even at the national events, like they used to do those types of things, but they also used to be in a hockey rink, you know, when there wasn't a lot of money. But now it's kind of like you're just like in a big concrete room with a concrete floor, and like it doesn't have this personality to it. So I hope that they keep doing that for weightlifting, where they kind of like take the culture of the place they're in and incorporate it somehow. And maybe they already had that stage there, so maybe that's why that worked out. But I would just hope they kind of continue that trend and do it more up like that versus like, I guess like it just kind of looks like, all right, there's the sheets, there's the rubber floor.
Yeah.
You know, they're in a box. They jazzed it up a little bit. You got the cool like a teddy bear that represents the culture. Like I'd rather see them do it more like this.
It definitely seems like the trend is moving upward in like event quality. That stage, was specifically for that. The funny part was that the center ref was in the ship So they kind of had to go under to like get to their seat. So like they obviously have that like strip that like stops a barbell, but they were like, if someone was to run across, especially in the like heavier weight class, and like throw a weight, the center ref, it would take them so long to like get out of the way that they were like, we're actually kind of worried about that, but it's a
Could they
cool like way.
could they duck
They would
underneath
have
it?
to like duck, but they're like in the ship. Yeah.
Wow. I guess I didn't see any pictures of like the refs actually seated, but
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. They should totally continue to do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for the sport because it's just more attractive. It draws your eye. Like, oh, look how cool it. Whoa, weightlifting's cool. Like look at that. And then do the next thing. I don't know. Have they announced where the next Worlds is going to happen? Or
I want to say it might be Armenia. I feel like they said Armenia, which
Okay.
they did Europeans a few years ago, and it was good there. Good crowd and everything. Only thing with Armenia is Turkish athletes.
They can't
Sometimes,
go.
well, they can go. They might just get jeered at the entire time that they're lifting. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, that happens a lot.
yeah,
Just like what I was telling you with the our Iranian
yeah,
lifter. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Cool. So yeah, the Worlds is done, and but weightlifting continues for our team. We've been doing our off-season training, and we have another meet on the schedule. So look at that. Which it was. I had no idea this was happening. I didn't think that anyone was thinking about doing this meet. Originally, I was going to do this meet. I think I said at the beginning of the year I was going to do this meet, which I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not doing. One, I'm not doing. I'm not doing it like. I think if I was going to do a meet, I would like do the Holiday Open one that Chris Smith runs in Long
yeah,
Island and whatnot. Like, ain't none of you going to follow me down to Long Island, so I'll go down there and do a meet. But I had decided right after states, just my feet and my wrist and other joints, it's just not going to happen. Like,
yeah,
I don't even know if I could get my feet into my weightlifting shoes right now. I'm like walking around in flip flops because I can't get my feet in any of my shoes. And actually, right after this, I'm going to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and try to find like not a slipper, but something that's wide and cushy. I
mm-hmm.
was in Target yesterday, and you know how they have like it's like a loafer shoe with like a low back. It's like
Yeah,
kind of a shoe, but kind of not. And it's like a pillow inside. Like it's like a fleece blanket inside. And I stuck my foot in front of that, and I was like, oh, like the heavens opened up. I
yeah,
was like, people walk around in this all the time. Like, that's amazing. So I have to figure out my shoe situation. So I'm not doing that meet. But I guess a lot of other people are, or at least on Monday. Sorry, on Monday, Miguel, everybody was gung ho about this meet. I'm telling you, everybody was on Monday, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." As Schaff was already signed up,
yep,
people are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let's do it." Bro. And then by the time we got towards the end of the meet, I feel like some people's opinions on this have changed a little bit. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
It's just funny. Maybe it's just because it was our first time like together. But I do know Schaff's gonna do it. I don't know if that means Alex is gonna do it because he wasn't here last week. Haley seems interested. I think she might do it. Chris, I think, is going to do it. Kylie, who's new to the club, going to do it. Rebecca wants to do it, but isn't sure if she'll be able to. Jennifer, I think, was also like, all right, I might do it, but I also might not be able to do it. So we'll have some
yeah,
people representing. And then we're just going through the off-season training now, which is I've learned from past mistakes. On especially when it comes to like the accessory. So on Monday, we did 3 rounds of 8 shoot throughs. The one where you're in the bear crawl position and you lean and send your foot past. So kind of like breakdancey style shoot
yeah,
through. So I was like, I don't want to get all the pirouettes out, and then not everyone can do that, but like everyone was able to do that one. And I do think it's a very valuable skill. It hits your obliques, arm stability, all that stuff. So we did 4 shoot throughs. Then we did 16, 8 per side. dumbbell rows, arm supported, but with a big rotation, almost like you're pulling a bow. And that's to hit more of the rear delts and also engaging the obliques. It's just a more bang for your buck type of row. And then we did 24 walking lunges, which the option was out there. These could be body weight walking lunges. You could hold the dumbbells for the rows by your side. You could hold them up here. Pick your poison. And originally I had that as 5 rounds. And then on the next day on Monday, I was like, 4 rounds. Let's go 4 rounds. And then just before class, I was like, 3 rounds. And so I kept.
Yeah, I heard it was rough. I kept
bumping it down. If it was 5 rounds, there would have been no survivors.
Yeah.
Because the whole session itself was difficult and a lot of movement. We moved around. We did just drills back and forth, leg swings, just normal GPP warm up. Then we did every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, a pike hold up against the wall, feet down on the floor, walk your hands, get piked. And that was our handstand skill for the day. I was like, you know what? If you can't do this, or we're not going to be able to get through this strong and hold good position, why am I going to get you on the wall? Like, let's just start here for everybody. And also it has a nice mobility effect to it too, with the hammies. So we did that, and people were holding the majority of a minute, and it was hard. Like, for people, you're going to hold that for 5 minutes. So of course the whole thing. Then we paired that with on the opposite minute of footwork drills for the jerk. And I go back and forth on the footwork drills. That's a thing. It's like, we just don't have time for this, but I really want to do it. Yeah. Like, they're like if you just get reps upon reps upon reps of just the footwork drills, drawing the diagrams and stuff, it's hugely beneficial. So I was like, let's let the jerk kind of be the star on this day one, and upper body kind of more be a focus a little bit in the off season. So you would just have your hands behind your back, hands down towards your hips, shoulders are set, core set, go up on your toes, drop into the split. Yeah. And then recover. And then that allowed me, if you're just going, no number was placed upon it. And the reason I didn't want to have a number, Miguel, is because I didn't want people rushing near the end. Maybe they got off the wall, but I got to hit 8 at all costs. Because, gosh, people always do stuff like that. So it's just go for the time you have, and I can see where you're landing. I can correct recovery. We don't have to worry about the bar. After that, we did behind the neck split jerks off the rack, heavy 3 with pausing for 5 seconds overhead on each of them. So limiting the weight with the pauses, but getting more time in the split position and not having to worry about going around your face. Yeah. So worked out really, really well. And then after that, we did that conditioning. So that was day 1. Really solid day. Next week, we'll go from 3 on the split jerk down to 2. And I might tweak some of the other things on the conditioning and the skills work a little bit. We might actually go up to 4 rounds now, since we did 3, because we don't necessarily need to go heavier, but we can do a little more volume. Solid day. And what we're doing with a lot of these things, we'll cycle some or most exercises every 2 weeks. So a little play on the conjugate method there, just not marrying anything for any length of time, but have it kind of progress a little bit. So it might be we go from behind the neck split jerks to we go to just regular split jerks with a pause. Yeah. So same thing, just different location. So little changes. Wednesday, we did an EMOM of pull-ups and SOTS presses. That went really well. The SOTS presses were hard. The pull-ups, I think we always have to have pull-ups in the program. Yeah. They're so important. Like, they'll never not be important to some way. We may have to ditch them in the main programming and they become a day 4 type of thing. But it's cool to get them in the main programming, especially since I can see the people that need to scale it and have them work off of the box, the toenail style, and do that. SOTS presses, we don't as a team SOTS press that much. You ever notice that?
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny. I used to SOTS press with the club a lot back in the day. Then I had one athlete get hurt doing it, and after that, I just stopped. And I always like, if I add it in now, all right, there's a meet coming up. Like, I don't know, it kind of like changed my view on the exercise, and I feel like it shouldn't. It's an important exercise, should bring it back. So I want to bring it back, but maybe it just needs to be in different ways. And that could have just been a one-off, because I myself used to SOTS press all the time, like almost every session as part of my warm-up, or I would go heavy on it. I would max it out from the front or the back. But I don't know if I'd ever do that with you guys,
Yeah.
So we did that. Then we did heavy bench presses with pauses, and then we did sled drags. So that was a nice day 2. Then day 3, we did skills transfer exercises, the snatch, push, press, overhead squat, and then the 3 snatch balances. You could add weight, or otherwise it was 3 by 5 reps on all of them. And that cooked everybody pretty good, but it was good work to be done, again, behind the neck. And then we did yo-yo snatch, yo-yo clean. One pull, one low hang pull, one snatch, or one clean. And again, feel it out. There's no specific number. Day 4, I really like day 4. I don't know. Did you see Shoff doing day 4?
Yeah, I saw that you brought back the front squat, back squat combo.
Yeah. Yep. Originally, I was going to go with like, all right, build up to a heavy set of 5, then do drop sets at 10. And I was like, let's do something even more different. That's still too familiar for what we were doing before. Like, we got to break the mold a little bit. So the skills practice, or I guess a prehab for that one, was 5 rounds, 25-foot farmer's carry forward, 25-foot reverse farmer's carry back. So a little bit of backwards walking just to do different things. Then GHD hip extensions with a pause at the top on each one, just 8 of them. And I found a cool way to do leg extensions with the bands, where you would have the bench set up in front of an upright on the rig, a thin band or a big band attached to the rig. And then, those smaller rubber bands, like the ones USAW gave you guys?
Yeah.
For states, loop that through the middle, and you have a foot hold on either one. And then you can do the leg extension. I'll send you a video of it after we're done, just so you can kind of see the setup. I've never seen the setup before. I was like, that's super cool. It's super easy. And just for do a leg extension, hold for 2 seconds, go back down. So a little bit of prehab for the quads, then go right into the front squat, back squat combo, and then do at the end a little back complex. So it was upright rows with a clean grip, bent over rows with the same grip, and then RDLs. You can add weight as you want. And that was 5 sets or 4 sets of 8 of each of those, I believe. So nice little bodybuilding style complex. Nothing super crazy, focusing on a lot of volume, a lot of joint stability, a lot of muscle development. It's a nice, I think this off-season programming I like better than last year's off-season programming. Where it's like, all right, I had the vision, and then I need to tone it down.
Yeah.
And that's always the case, so to say. Like, you have this grand program, and you're like, this is going to be such a good program. I can't wait to do this, whatnot. And then everyone comes in on their canes. They're like hobbling in, and they're like, from that week off, it's like it's like you've lost all your endurance and everything, and you're going to be super sore from having 1 week off, which we used to have 2 weeks off, So people were definitely feeling it, even with just 1 week off.
Yeah.
So I think good decisions were made, and I think now off-season time is another good time to be like, what do you want to do? Here's what we're doing. There's pauses, so I know I'm gonna hold you back so you don't go too crazy, because we're not trying to red line max it out. But also, it's like, you could take 1 kilo jumps, you could take 5 kilo jumps, you could take no jumps. You could just keep hitting this on a cycle. Like, what do you want to do today, and what do you feel capable of doing today?
Yeah. And
it also gives me more freedom too, once we get deeper into it. Hey, Miguel, I want you to do a nose to wall handstand hold. Shoff, I want you to face out. Haley, I want you to be on the wall but at an angle. Jennifer, I want you to do pike hold. Like, to then, like, now you start to get more specific assignments.
Yeah.
Within that, because I'm trying to write things very vaguely. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, especially I think for off season, it makes the most sense, and just see where everyone's at and what they're comfortable with, and then not feel married to anything. Like, I know like a lot of the stuff with the cards was also like, hey, if you have to adjust, but when something's written in, that's just what we lean towards.
Yeah.
So
It's
if
like,
you
will
make
you?
it more open and just go, even like a CrossFit class, where as you see someone moving, you're like, oh, I want you to do this specifically. This other person, I want you to do this because I think that'll be better for you. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it kind of leaves it open for your interpretation and how people are kind of moving.
Yeah. That way no one looks at the board and like, well, it says go heavy, and like, yeah, but you're not going heavy today. Like, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to be vague in how I'm writing things. Even with like I wrote it like 8 shoot throughs, 16 rows, 24 lunges, just because that was the prettier way to write it. Instead of writing 4 shoot throughs slash side
Yeah.
8, like I hate writing it that way because it's like, well, it looks ugly. So I'm just going to write it the aesthetically pleasing way for me, and then just explain to you you're going to do 8 per side. Or it just says handstand skills. That could literally mean whatever I want it to mean, versus like,
Right.
all right, well, now I got to do that or whatnot. So I'm trying to write things, and I'll probably continue this. I want to try to write things more vaguely. So, like how you said, people don't get married to things, and it starts to develop like a complex. It's like, all right, it's written vaguely because there's 8 of you in the room. So once we like clear the window a little bit over Miguel, it'll say a different thing. It's like a scratch off card, and each of your heads are on there, and it's like, all right, handstand skills, scratch it off under Miguel. Oh, it says pirouettes. I want you to practice them on pirouettes, to keep your wrist straight or whatever. Like, so it's just something a little different that way.
Yeah.
And with the cards, I've been doing it differently too. I've been handing out the cards at the end of class during off season, just because I do think, even though the cards are very helpful and we found a lot of good use out of them, I think some people here and there kind of phone in the cards a little bit, just a little bit, like a little bit. Yeah, just write whatever, or don't even fill things out. And I'm like, you didn't even write this thing. And then also it might be developing little complexes here and there. Like, we're creating a mental issue with the card already. So I've been handing out the cards at the end just to kind of be like, hey, what weight did you do for the behind the neck jerks? Write that down, because I want that to record it. And then give me your ratings, because those aren't going to change, your nutrition and stuff, from beginning class to the end. And then also, so we're not spending a lot of time on it right at the beginning. It's like, hey, get your shoes on and let's start moving.
Yeah.
And also, we don't need a focus for the handstand skills or the behind the neck jerk or the bench press or any of these things. It just needs to be like, let's just do it. Like, because you may not be familiar with this thing, and we don't need to be like, all right, on this skill that I don't know anything about, I'm going to try to do this. It's like, I don't need you thinking that hard in the off season right now. And maybe that's even, maybe not a thing. Or yeah, it could just be in regular training when we get back to it. Here are your cards. Don't worry about the ratings or all these things unless you can do it quickly. Just put down your focus for the back squats and then let's move on. Something like that. Or maybe we move more towards there's a predetermined focus. You do it week 1, and then now I'm just writing things in for you after that. Do you think the issue that we eventually came up with the cards, because it wasn't there at the beginning of the year, but it started to kind of come up after regionals into the summer, is just decision fatigue, having to think about things.
Yeah, but it depends. I mean, yeah, potentially. I think like after you've been adding in focuses for so long, sometimes you're like, well, I want to switch it up. So you're just kind of cycling through things. And then also you're kind of like, we were very much technique focused for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that kind of also became a thing of like, there's so many things that I could write in for a focus right now. And it's like, what's the, And then like in the comments, you might be like, we have to switch to this other focus that I also have because So I think just over time of like doing it, eventually it'll always get like not stale, but like, yeah, you kind of have to wean off of it and then come back and it'll be fresh again. And yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's opportunity throughout the year where, let's say, January to the regional is like the first big block, kind of. All right, that's where it kind of lives. But then after that, in the block period, maybe before states, although we did have 4 blocks this year, but like that block after the regional is almost like a mini off season. Like
Yeah.
we've talked about this before. It's like there should be not necessarily like a deload, but like a time period where it's almost like it is now, where it's like, okay, snatch and clean jerks are like kind of like a little bit on the back burner, but we're doing like jerks off the rack. We're doing these other things. It's not like constant like mental fatigue of like, I missed my snatches on Monday, then I missed them on Wednesday, and I'm going to burn this place down if I miss them on Friday. And they just keep it'll just switch to be like, you only have to worry about snatch and clean jerk on Friday, or it's like, hey, snatch and snatch skills are on Monday, jerk and jerk skills are on Wednesday, clean and clean skills are on Friday, like that kind of a thing where it's like, oh, okay. Because I think the problem with doing snatch, clean, and jerk back to back is it does feel like competition all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. It can definitely get that way. Yeah.
Versus, and I know that's just the way the programming's written, so we can focus on different positions and things like that. But that would work in a cycle that's building up for a specific meet. Then after that, in the next cycle, hey, we're going to do these snatch skills and just a snatch. So that's all you have to focus on. You don't have to worry about the fact that clean and jerks are coming up next and you feel tired and the cleans look heavy. Like, because the next session, they'll be first. And that's all you got to focus on. And we can also spend more time on it too. Oh, I lost Miguel. The device is not connected. They will need to connect their mic and cam before I can add them the screen. Oh, we lost Miguel for a second. Let me shoot him a text. Shaf, if you're listening, we're sorry. So we'll see if we can get Miguel back. But essentially what that will allow us to do is just focus on the one movement, not have to worry about what else we're going to do during that time, and then just be a little bit more mental peace. Oh, still here. Camera and mic just shut off. Oh, okay. So Miguel is still here. How do I add him back? Oh, all right. I'm going to kick him out of the studio. If you want to prevent this person from rejoining, you should ban him instead. No, we don't want to ban Miguel. Okay. Kicked you out. Try rejoining. Okay, we'll try that. Of course, we don't want to ban Miguel. Then I'd be all by myself. Okay, we'll see if he can get back in. If not, we'll wrap it up. But the off-season training is going well. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep cycling through different exercises. Oh, wait a minute. We have movement. Wait. There we go.
Yeah.
Did that help kicking you out so you could get back in?
I was actually, I think I fixed it and I was coming right back on and then I got kicked out.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I can't even remember now where we're at. Just I think we need these periods like at either end of the year where it's more chill and we can spend more time with things. Oh, that's what I was going to say. When we're in full competition mode, we're trying to get the back squats in as little time as possible because one, we need them. They have to be there. but we can't spend 30, 40 minutes squatting because we have so many other things to do. And even in doing the squats in 10 minutes, and it takes everybody 14 minutes to get their shoes and squat racks and stuff set up and all these things, we just we're not being able to spend a lot of time with things. And I even felt that myself, where I was like, man, like I can't even get over there to like see Miguel do a lift, like, because like I have to be tied up over here or that, and like it just doesn't, even though we're like deep into the training's getting done, it just still feels rushed, like we don't have enough time to get it all in. So I guess I'm going to be trying in the new year, and I'm doing it now, programming less, and then that will allow us to maybe do more when we can, and to also make sure that we have times during the year where we can just be like, you know what, today is snatch day. That way it's like, if we spend 40 minutes like working on a snatch, we don't have to rush the warm-ups. We can rest more between lifts. And even if we are doing, maybe that's where doubles live, right? Maybe that's where doubles and triples live, when we can afford to have more rest time, so you guys don't have to feel like you're doing CrossFit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, but it's like, all right, if we do doubles during the main training where we have squats and clean and jerks and stuff, even though we're trying to do a short warm up and we're trying to get everyone done, we still end up in a situation where it's like, okay, we can only spend 15 minutes and you should rest this much. And I know if I give you 15 minutes, that might blur into 20 minutes, but that's better than me telling you we're going to spend 20 minutes and having that blur into 25 minutes. And now we are having to rush to do the clean and jerks, because everyone's moving at different paces, or someone's tired and they're dragging, So I think the programming in the new year will certainly adjust maybe to that way. When it's competition prep and we're doing things together, maybe it is more singles. And then during those times when we can afford more time and we're only going to do squats and snatch, for example, we can have longer breaks to do triples and doubles. What do you think about this? Does that change things too much?
I think honestly, yeah, I think overall, just like, I guess for lack of a better term, like make more casual days, where I know like it depends on the person as well, but like some days you would write on the cards and like ... and you're like, we're going for 15 minutes, do at least these many sets.
Yeah.
But I do think it kind of has to be like that. Maybe not even like prescribed weight, and maybe just like, hey, you don't have to max out. But I think even like those days, even if you do end up trying to put on like a max for like a double at a hang or something, it's like when you kind of just have the freedom to go for time, I think that takes a little bit off of the like intensity of it, or like the mental intensity, I guess you could say, of like, oh no, I have to be able to hit these. Everyone's at 80% and nobody else is missing. Like, I think if you just go like, whatever, and you kind of have to allow for the fact that like, yes, some people are only going to do 4 sets.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah. And then the fact that some people are going to fly through and they're going to end up putting the maxes on every time.
Yeah.
But I think if you just make it like yes, this is a casual, quote unquote, time for Barbell Club, where it's like, we're building, we're figuring things out. Use this time how you want to use this time. And then like, we're in a cycle for a meet. Now it's more prescribed. Now it's more like, do this specifically. I think that'll help with like burnout and stuff as well.
Yeah, I think we definitely got a little burned out throughout the year. Everybody, me even, it's like, it's funny how far away we've come from 5 singles, 5 sets. I'm like, I can't get them to do 5 working sets anymore. Like, are you kidding me? You know, like, and also we don't have the time to do 5 working sets. And some people, it seems like, all right, you came to Barbell Club and you just want to rest. Like, you came here to sit, you know. I have to be okay with that. And what I have to do is reframe my coaching mind to be like, okay, Miguel just keeps coming in. He gets like a couple sets in and he wants to sit. Then we go to the meet. He doesn't perform. Then he's like, why aren't I making progress? Well, let me tell you a story about what you're doing here. Like, look at your car. And then that puts the onus back on you. Like, you're not making use of your time. I can encourage you. But if I try to force you to make use of your time and make you do 5 warm-up sets and 5 working sets, that's going to eat up a lot of class time. You might start dragging the class. Everyone else is done, and you still have 2 or 3 sets to go because you didn't manage your time correctly. And then now other people, like, it's just a whole thing. And it doesn't need to be a whole thing. It can just put the responsibility solely on you. And it should be on you, right? When you go to step out on that platform, you're like, oh, crap. I was eating too much candy and chit-chatting and not putting in the work. And then we can have a conversation about it.
We've said it before, but I mean, like, that push from like regionals to states, even though it's like we kind of account for like it's summer, people are going to be away, people are going to do this and that, but it's like you almost need a specific like, hey, when you come here, not we're just messing around, but like almost of like relax. We need like a little maybe 2-month relax time and just be like, do it based off of what you need right now. Because I mean, some people will still do other regionals, other meets in the summer if they want. But yeah, I don't know if that would like help overall. Just like take some of it off for a little bit. Everyone kind of work towards what you want to work towards, and then like push for a meet, perhaps.
Yeah. I think, and I think one, you know, all the things that I'm saying, all my complaints, my grievances, everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody. No one is innocent. There's even times that I'm burnt out from the programming that we're doing. And like as I'm coming in, I'm like, man, like, should I just change it? Like, yeah, let's max out today. You know, like there's times where I'm like almost wishing like if everybody was like, can we just go really heavy today and max out? Like, but no one ever asked for that. But sometimes I'm thinking it, right? Because like sometimes I feel like if I say that now, like I'm being the bad guy. You're gonna make us max out versus like, remember back in when I was lifting, that was the thing you just did. That was the fun thing. You just all got together and there was no 80%. You were just gonna keep going. What can you do today? You know, that's the Abajev when he came to California Strength and he was training around in California, some gyms like. They're like, "What, coach? What should we do? What should we do today?" He's like, "I don't know. What can you do today?" That was like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want to do today? Do you want to be a champion today? Well, maybe you should do those squats and max out today and whatnot." Also, there'd be a lot of mind games being played and stuff like that. Yeah. But remember, like I said last time, we are recreational athletes. We are working a full-time job. They're not manual labor jobs, you know, they're not very strenuous jobs, although Jennifer's certainly is. But like a lot of people are working on the computer and things are getting stiff and tight and whatnot. And or you're just like mental fatigued. And now you got to look at this card and you're not hitting these weights and you want to hit these weights. And you know, there's freedom to adjust it, but you don't want to adjust it, like all these things. So I think maybe more open-ended would be good. And even on a training cycle, like leading up to the regionals, we only really need one of those days to be structured like that.
Yeah.
You know, it could be like, even if I don't even know what we're going to do in the next regional lead up, but let's say it's more of like doubles from the knee or something, or from the blocks, but it's open-ended. There's no pressure on it. And then next week, the card might just say the reps are different. We went from 3s to 2s. This is what you did for the weight to give you an idea. And then, but build up any way you want to. There's no deal on it. But then on Friday, it's like, all right, Friday, get your briefcase on. We're going to work a little bit. Yeah. You need to hit these numbers to make sure. But all those other things are just kind of sharpening technique. And you need heavy technique as much as you need light technique. Like, You can spend all the time with the bar you want, but then eventually you have to start adding weight to the bar and holding that technique. Those could be what the other days are kind of for, you know? So yeah, a lot to think about, And I'm kind of changing my whole like mindset on it, just trying to get away from like, this is what the spreadsheets, all these things say you should do to get this amount of volume, because
Right.
like, all right, there is no research to tell me how much volume a group of 10 individuals should be doing when they're sitting 8 to 9 hours at a desk all day and they have all these outside stresses. They have this to deal with. They're going to bed late. They're not eating food all day. Literally, I have nothing to help me versus the training cycle before or the year before. Like, none, like if we trained like they trained like on the spreadsheets, I think I would kill all of you. You know,
Yeah.
like, does that make sense, or is that kind of laying down the sword too much?
No, I mean, even as I'm saying things, it's like you still try to figure it out. Like I'm saying things that I'm like, this sounds good because it sounds maybe a different approach than we've been doing for a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, I think it's just variation. Again, like we're recreational athletes. Like we might just need variation for it, meaning like, okay, what did we do last year? Let's do something different. Just to try and see. I mean, no matter what. And I mean, like you said, we're all individuals. So some people might thrive in one, and maybe the next year in the different system, other people thrive or nobody thrives. But it's like, you kind of just have to mix it up and just see what sticks. Or again, like even if it sticks, the next year it might not. So, you know.
Well, and I think since recreational athletes, not professional athletes, there should be more degrees of freedom.
Yeah.
You know, and fun should be the priority up here. And last year we started the year with like, let's bring it back to basics. And I think that was very good. We had huge success with it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean we can't do that again. But last Monday, when we were doing the behind the neck jerks and we had that specific skills session and whatnot, like I had a lot of fun. It felt fun. It felt like old school barbell club where it's like, yeah, here's the lift and we're just going to go heavy on it. And you don't need me to hold your hand on every weights you should do. You know how you like to build up. Do you need me to write, 40, 50, 60, the normal jumps you take the same every time, so that felt fun. So I think it needs to be more like that and more like, what do you want to get out of it? And then if you're tired today, no one says you have to go up to this weight.
Yeah.
You could just practice the skill or build up the heavy. Let's hit some drop sets. And that's not written on the board. That's just intuitive between you and I. And then maybe that would also change the way we kind of see maybe like the business day where the snatch and clean jerk are together on the prep up to a meet. And those jumps could get more specific too, instead of like, because like, all right, you guys like big jumps, or like, instead of like, all right, if I program 68, you're just going to bump it up to 70, but maybe now it is more kind of dialed in and it'll be more accepted because you were able to do the jumps you want to do. Or I would say, all right, this is not a term meant to be, I come with peace and love. The jumps that require less thinking.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's easy for me to go 10 kilo jumps versus he wants me to go 62 and then 67 and like these more like nuancy jumps where it's like I can just do the easy plate math. I can just I don't have to think about it because I don't want to think about it because I've been thinking all day and my brain is mush from the computer and all the phone calls and business meetings, and I got yelled at by my boss. But you got to do that on Monday and Wednesday, but now we need to be a little more specific on this because we were sharpening the technique and strength early. Now we're dialing it in purposely on this day. Maybe that gets us to the next level we need to go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense on like the non-thinking jumps or just the non?
For sure.
I mean, of course, you remember when I was just going all in on like 42.
Yeah.
63. And then there was a revolt. And then you guys just stopped doing it anyways. You just started rounding up or down. And I'm like, well, I've lost this battle. We can't get it back.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because also it's like it's work having to go get the plates. But do I think as a team we need to not be lazy about things like just set it up?
Yeah, and I mean the revolt also came because it's like those numbers are different mentally.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, again, like we don't want to do it every day, but if it comes to like now's the day where it's like these weights are intentional. Each 2, each 3, each 4 is on purpose. So yeah, I think it's a different approach. And then because you have to deal with weights that like I never put this on the bar. So how does that feel?
Yeah, and really any weight we put on the bar shouldn't affect us psychologically like that. What if I have to have you take 99 kilos on the clean and jerk? It's like we just have to do this right now. Or let's say you're supposed to take 100, but 99 is loaded because that's what the guy before you did, but we don't have time to change that. Miguel, just hit that. You're okay with it. We should be able to hit any number. There aren't any weird numbers. But I can tell you, and anyone from Barbell Club listening, throughout the history of the Barbell Club, specific numbers have always been an issue. Whether we were in pounds or kilos back in the early days, you're making me go 65, 70, and 75 instead of 65 to 75. It's always been an issue. And I bet other teams struggle with this too. But I'm looking at it. If you look at the way that we do our numbers for the until we get to the top end, it's funny. When we get to the top end, then it has to be 94, 97, 90, 63. It's just these giant 5 to 10 kilo jumps all the way up, just very structured like that. So I think we can tighten this all up. I think we've learned enough this year on bringing it back to the basics that I think we will be in a good spot to make it work even better with our cohort of people and what they have to experience in the other 23 hours of the day. To continue to get the best performances out of everybody. For sure. Cool. Well, good talk today, Miguel. We went through a lot of stuff. Any closing thoughts on anything?
Good luck to you guys as you continue on with your off-season programming.
Yep. It's gotta be good. It's gotta be good. Well, hey, Hotel California, you may not be lifting with the team right now, but you'll be coaching the team for 2 weeks coming up in December. And the December, what I have programmed ends December 1st or that first week, because that's where I'll be through, and we'll go through the holiday of November. And then Miguel's got to tell me what he wants programmed on those days. What's the team going to be doing? And then the numbers and all that stuff. So have you thought about it at all?
Nah, I'll start picking at some stuff, archives of things I've written down and whatnot.
You're going to have a very long plane ride at some point to and from India, where you might just be sitting there and be like, let me spend 1 hour. How is it? 14 hours?
Yeah, I think total. We have a layover in London, so yeah.
Okay. Are you going to be able to get off the plane in London at all and explore?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
they're pretty long layovers. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool too. So yeah, you'll definitely have time to think about it at some point. So, and then we'll of course talk about it when you get back from the trip.
Yeah.
So cool. All right. Well, you can follow me at James A. McDermott. Follow the Barbell Club, Albany Cross Barbell Club. Miguel, where can people follow you?
Couldn't be Miguel on Instagram.
Awesome. Follow us. We can't guarantee we'll follow you back.
Right.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.